Welcome to episode number 47 of the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap. Our guest tonight, Cousin Donnie, is Mr. Anthony Sanchez from the 45s. But before we get to him, I know we have a ton of things to really talk about. So, how are you, Cousin Donnie?
I'm good, man. It feels, first of all, happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful ladies out there who have given birth to both of us, fine men.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day to Auntie Jenny, of course, who I know is a big fan of our show,
Yes.
who is the mother of your 3 wonderful children. And if the mothers are watching, we appreciate you guys very much. And happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. And hopefully you got to spend some time with the lovely ladies. There's a lot going on in softball right now in terms of league games, tournaments, all that kind of stuff. So, we kind of battled through the winter, Jim, with nothing going on and just kind of talking to everybody we could. And now we're in the heart of it. So, it's nice to have something to talk about other than just what the hell is going on in our lives. But, it's nice and it's good. I'm definitely happy with, being able to talk about a tournament this weekend.
Yeah. So, I mean, how happy are you that you're with the starting pitcher from Hex?
Not to be named, not the man named, but the starting pitcher from Hex.
Starting pitcher from Hex, yeah. So
you'd think
awesome.
think they know your name.
No, I don't think so. So, but either way, it's an awesome thing. We had an incredible tournament this weekend. I heard over at the 107th in Ridgeland with the Woodworth Memorial. That was an awesome thing. So, Donnie, who was the winner of that team? What was the team name again? I know the guys that were on the team, but
that was the Feisty Flamingos. We have the 5th annual Amber Woodworth Memorial Co-ed Tournament was this weekend. The Feisty I'm looking at the banner. That's why I look so red, because that's a bright red banner. Congrats to the Feisty Flamingos. A lot of familiar faces on that team. My guy Brian Haas from Signature was the tournament MVP. So big shout out to Brian Haas. We had Eric Nadzella, who's a Hex guy. We had Brian Kearns, a Flash guy, and Pops, an ex-Hex guy, now Meatball City guy, Tommy Lentine Sr. on that team. We have Ashley Lentine, Christine Eberhardt, who was on our show. And then the other females I unfortunately don't recognize, but congrats to that team and the Feisty Flamingos.
Well, you know what? I heard nothing but great things out there this weekend. I heard they had a live band. They had a lot of fundraising stuff. So awesome turnout, awesome things. Unfortunately, I had a miss this year. My son's 3rd birthday party was on Saturday. So we had a bunch of people over here, and we were celebrating, the day away, which was awesome. So,
well, good for you guys. As long as you're going to be gone all this weekend, so you got to make sure you play your cards right, this past weekend.
That is correct. That is correct, Cousin Donnie. So
I know how it works.
The actual next 3 weekends, I will be out between Westchester, Yuma, and Iowa. So it's going to be fun-filled next 3 weeks, but I'm looking forward to it. And why don't we get in, before we get to the Westchester tournament, why don't we just kind of give our top 12? I think, now that the season's a couple weeks in, we've had some, a lot of teams have played 4 or 5, maybe 6, 7 games. We've gotten to look at a lot of the teams. Obviously, Donnie, you and I have gotten to play a lot of the teams. So little advantage to us in regards to how we rank these teams. But why don't we start? We're going to give a top 12. We're just going to be a little bit different. Everyone always talks about top 10, but we're going to give a top 12.
Yep.
Number 12 for me. number 12 for me, Donnie. Before I get to you, is Iron. Who do you got at 12? And I'll tell you why I have Iron at 12.
Yep. I have Pharaohs at 12.
Okay. So I have Iron at 12 because, well, a couple reasons. Number one, they had a nice little run in Matty Dozen's tournament. They did play the Pharaohs. They beat the Pharaohs. But at the same time, they have been playing shorthanded. So 5 or 6 of their better players have not been around. I think that's only going to make them improve, right? They're going to bring some speed in, some young talent. Now that CJ's there, Joe's there, we have some of the other individuals there. That's the reason why I went with 12. With Iron, I think that they're going to be in that 12 to 15 mix all season long. And it's something that I feel they're going to improve, and they're going to continue to improve as young kids get better.
I want to give a quick shout out. JP says, is your son's name now the son of the pitcher from Hex? That's a good comment. I like that. I have Pharaohs at 12. They've got a nice roster. Kind of jumped out of the gate. A lot of people saying they're going to be a good team. I have Iron at 11. So right above Pharaohs, I have Iron for the exact reasons that you mentioned. They have a really nice young team. All the kids are going to be back from college. So it'll be good to see those guys, obviously picking up CJ and Joe, like you mentioned, and had a really nice run in the Matty Dozen tournament. Who do you have at 11?
So number 11 for me is Chicago Dynasty. I had them ranked high in my top 10. I know they haven't played much, but it's hard to drop them out of there just because of the fact that they haven't really played. It's nothing against them. I know they had a rain out or two, and I believe they're playing in the Forest Park League, so or the Melrose League, one of them. Yeah, Melrose League. So that being said, I still believe in Dynasty. They have a ton of talent. I know they've lost a couple good players over the last couple of years, but still a lot of talent there and still a lot of opportunities. So Dynasty for me at 11.
Yep.
So I'll get into 10, Donnie, and I'll swing it back to you. Number 10, I have Chucks from Iowa. I know they haven't played a game, but Chucks, to me, is a loaded roster, and they're going to be someone that's going to be a force to be reckoned with. They're going to be playing 3 of the 5 Chicago tournaments this year. I think that's going to be a big advantage to them and those group of guys. Plus, they play, I think, 4 or 5 tournaments in Iowa. So they're going to have 7 or 8 tournaments together. Call the Marshalltown one, May 31st and the 1st. You got Chicago teams out there. So I think they're going to be an opportunity, and they're going to show some people this year that they can play. So
I unfortunately left Chucks off the list. Was just kind of going around teams that I've seen play so far this season and kind of where everybody's at. So I was trying to keep it local, but Chucks would have been in the top 12 if we're doing Iowa included, and I didn't think about them. So I apologize to the Chucks guys.
I didn't forget about them.
I definitely did. You did them a nice justification there. I have March at 10, just because of the team that they have. I think they picked up some nice guys, and their roster's nice. They beat us on Monday this week, 5-0. We got 5 hits the whole game, so they shut us down. They played great defense. We hit 12 line drives to center field, and the kid in center, Zach, made every single play. But their team, they have a good roster. I mean, they have a good lineup. We played them 3 times. We've beat them twice, and now they came out and beat us when they had to. So I think March is a good team. And I'll roll into my number 9. Or did you say 10? You did, right, Chuck? And number 9 is Hex, Jimmy, at the moment. Okay,
nice.
So
I think
it. And it's not to fuel the fire. Okay, it's just kind of where you guys are at right now. I think there's some teams that have shown some promise to start the season. Hex has struggled a little bit to start the year. I know you guys put up a 30 spot against Pharaohs this week, which was nice to see. So good that you guys got the bats rolling a little bit and scored some runs.
Yep. So my number 9 is Moneyline. Moneyline to me, I just think that they lost to Meatball City in the tournament.
Yep.
And they're a new group in regards to they've added some pieces. And I just think that they're at number 9 right now, and there's it's nothing bad. It's just that I think the teams above them right now, either they don't have success against or they just haven't proven yet to win. That doesn't mean they're not going to. but that's where I have them at number 9.
Okay.
I have Hacks at 8, so I'm right.
Okay.
We're right above money line. Obviously, to your point, we have not played our best ball. We have, started off kind of 4-4 to start the year or whatever it is, if you count the tournament, and it's something that I think, hopefully moving forward, we're going to come out swinging. So Donnie's having a little technical difficulties here, and he'll be joining me back in a second. But as I said, we have number 8. We have Hex at 8, and I was swinging it back over to cousin Donnie here real quick. There you are, Donnie.
I got a phone every time somebody calls me while we do the stream. It kicks me right off the stream. So
no worries.
Popular guy these days.
I just was telling him why I have Hex at 8 right now, and I think hopefully we're going to come out swinging this weekend. So who do you got at number 8, Donnie? There he is. All right, guys, as you can see, somebody's calling Donnie, and Donnie's on his phone, not his computer. So let me try to get Donnie back on. There he is. What's up, my
Sorry, I've got the Cricket Wireless, Pop says. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
It's all resolved now.
No worries. So who do you got at number 8?
Number 8, I have Meatball City at number 8. And I think I could have put him a little bit higher. I want to see him play a little bit more. I obviously know those fellas a lot, but I think NBC is at number 8 just because of the guys ahead of them right now. I think are a little bit more established in the game, if that kind of makes sense. But NBC, fantastic team, gave us a run. I mean, we friggin' had to put some things together to beat them in the bottom of the 7th inning. So I love that squad, and I think 8's a really good spot for them this year.
Perfect. Number 7 for me is Meatball City. So obviously winning the first tournament of the year. I didn't have them in my top 10, but they jumped. I know they they walked off they played you guys tough in the Melrose League. They've had some other wins. So Meatball City, number 7.
Okay. My number 7 is BTA. I think they still have a fantastic roster with guys like Wes and Lil B and Cap. They're and Tommy Washington. Their team is nice on paper. They're dogs. So it's kind of why NBC falls at 8 because like I said, BTA and the guys above them are really, really solid. So I have BTA at 7.
Number 6 for me is BTA.
Okay.
Just backed you up. Everything you said, I think, with Wes, obviously, and the talented group that they have. Right now, I got them at number 6.
Fantastic. I have a Signature at number 6. And I'm so confident that this team grows more. I think we can revisit this list in 4 or 6 weeks, and Signature could be up there even higher. I mean, our team, our loss was a fluky, weird night against March where nothing was falling. But other than that, our team is awesome, and I'm super happy with these guys. So this again, the teams above us are playing really good and have nice rosters. So that's kind of where we're at.
All right, number 5 for me is High Y.
Okay.
So High Y, they beat us in the tournament. We had a close game, but they have a talented group too, and I think that them coming off major nationals, they're gonna probably start this year off really hot. So I have High Y at number 5, and my guy Little Dave. So
people love Little Dave.
The best looking white guy in softball, as I always call him.
Yeah, I have High Y at 5. So I think we're right there, right? High Y. I think they're 4-0 right now at Forest Park. My brother's commenting about our Metal team that starts tomorrow. Metal is a team my brother and I run at Genera Park, and we're going for our 4th straight championship. So
Donnie, no one gives a shit. So I'm kidding. Number 4, I have Signature.
Thanks.
Number 4, I have Signature, and I have Signature because I've got to see you guys play over the winter, and not only that, but also you guys started off somewhat hot as well. So number 4 for me, Signature.
All right, I love that. I love being at 4, and my number 4, just based on roster and personnel, is Moneyline, and you had them at 9, which is which is funny how different the two of us see these two teams.
Yeah.
Moneyline only plays at Melrose, so kind of playing double headers on Tuesday, Thursdays. Not really seeing that at Forest Park, but it'll be interesting to see how Moneyline comes out this weekend with hopefully their full team.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
for me, really quick before we get to the top three, I know we got Anthony coming on here in about 10 minutes, so hopefully he jumps on the link. It's in the green room. But let's just say hi to some of the fans that have joined. Pat Clark, welcome. Wags, PJ Rains, Delingo, welcome. Tim Glover, Joe Anthony, Jim Schumacher, Michael Malley, Mr. 41 himself, Michael Hendricks, Lee Reeder, welcome. Jeff Otto, Drew Ladick. Drew, I put you in the top 12, my man. You guys are at number 10, so your Uncle Jimmy didn't forget about you, unlike Cousin Donnie. Richie Arico, Chad Harold. A lot of Iowa folks jumping on. Rolo Levo. Big Mick is on. Welcome, Big Mick. Love you, my man. Bobby Ronald, Mr. No-Hitter himself. Steve Burke, Adam James, Justin Allen. Christine, Chrissy's on. So, Chrissy, we obviously threw you a shot earlier on the feed. Chris Bohanka's watching. Drew's watching. Marty Dozen's watching. Tim Dalton. And we have the list. This list doesn't end. Billy Smith, Alex Rahafi, John, J-Rob. Welcome to the show. J-Rob just says he wants to get to Anthony. He's sick of hearing us. So, Matt Clemens, Brian Sherwin, obviously Shane Rollins. He's talking about metal. Like I said, no one cares.
A lot of people care. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people care. So, and Chris Mahalski, welcome to the feed. So Donnie, really quick, before we get to the top three, I think the top three is, in my eyes, probably the best three teams, obviously, and that'll be there all year long, but teams that are very beatable. So I don't want to make it seem like these teams are untouchable, but the top three teams are very beatable. But at the same time, I think they have the most talent on paper. For me, it's Circus at number 3. I think Circus is a team that, you know, they only play in one league. They usually come out of the gate hot, and then they fade as the year goes on because they just don't play enough.
Yeah.
So they're the 2-time defending champs at Westchester. You know, I see them making another run this weekend. So that's who I got. Obviously, the additions of Sherwin and Alonji are going to help that squad, and that lineup's going to be, 10 deep all the way through. So, Donnie, who do you got at number 3?
I actually have Flash at number 3 because I think the other two teams are that strong. I might be digging myself a grave right now because we may play them on Thursday at TOC, but Flash, the lineup is insane. I mean, they're that good. They could beat everybody by 100. So, I respect those guys a lot, and we've lost to them twice already this year by 2 runs both times, and their team, there's not a bad player in that lineup. Everyone's a hit in that lineup. Steve Majera says he cares about metal and that we lost half our fan base. Christine Everhart missed the shout-out, but congrats again on the tournament win. Very proud of that squad, and congrats on that. Number 2 for me, Jimmy, is 45s.
Okay.
So
number 2 for me is Flashback for all the reasons you said. Flashback, they're been a little bit of a weird kind of group, I feel, the start years, but as the year goes on, they usually put it together. So for me, number 2 is Flash, and it really depends on who they get. Sometimes they don't have their full squad, and they got to, fill guys, and maybe they're not as good as what they are with their full squad, of course. So number 2 for me is Flashback. Number 1 for me, number 1 is the 45s. And not only have they started off, I think, undefeated in both leagues. I know they didn't play. They already beat Flash in the league. And they haven't lost yet. I heard they've been blowing people out. So they've had some young talent. Nate, he's been sober for 100 days and is playing out of his mind from what I've seen. So maybe Cousin Donnie, I'm going to go sober. We'll see what happens.
That would be very impressed with you, Jim, for 100 days if you could, because I know that's part of your lifestyle and how social you are. You got to go to the bar, you got to support your people. So there you go. 100 days starts tomorrow, huh, Jim? My number 1 is Circus. I've got Circus at number one. Just that lineup is insane. I mean, adding Alonji and Sherwin to, Chippy and Timmy and that team is stacked. I mean, I want to see more of those guys play. And I know if they get their whole team out there, if they have a full squad, which is tough for that unit, that's a really hard team to beat with guys like Kevin Duff. And I mean, their team is outstanding.
So now that we ran through our top 12,
mm-hmm.
I just want to go through really quick. I told Anthony at the 25-minute mark we're going to bring him on. So we're at the 20-minute mark right now. But I just want to run through the opening round games at the Westchester tournament. So I'm going to pull them up on the screen. Donnie, we can talk about a little bit the lines. Right at the top there, you got BTA playing Sauce.
Yep.
I've got BTA minus 6.5.
Okay.
Where do you got BTA?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty darn good line, Jim. I know I was talking to Brian Sloan a little bit, maybe having to pick some players up for this weekend, but he always puts together a nice team. I love Brian Sloan. That's my guy. And he put together a nice team for that SSA tournament, kind of with, picking up a few guys here and there. But BTA probably heavy favorite, 5.5. I would say 6.5 is pretty good. But I don't doubt Brian Sloan for a second.
So if BTA wins, they play March. I got BTA minus 3.5 against March, if it holds true. So
I like that.
Next game is Flashback against Goodwood. I got Flashback minus 7.5 here. I know Goodwood is a young team, but they're playing a top 3 team in softball. Flash is probably going to come out swinging, I would think. Flash minus 7.5. What do you got, Donnie?
Yeah, Flash. This game could. I mean, our guy Steve Burke said, "Did Goodwood make the top 30?" He just tuned in. Definitely makes the top 30. Top 30. I will tell you that. Flash. Yeah, like you said, 6, 7.5. I mean, just based on how much firepower that team has, and then Signature will play the winner of that game at 7:30 on Thursday. So we'll kind of.
I got Flashback minus 3 in that game. I know you're not going to put a line on that, but I got you guys as slight underdogs against Flash.
And we've played them twice already. They beat us both times. It's understandable that we could be called the underdog in that game, but we want those guys so bad.
So the next game there we have is Impact and Circus. I don't really want to get into each team, but I just want to throw a line. I've got Circus minus 10.5 here.
Yeah, that seems. I mean, maybe 9.5, 10-run game. I could see that.
I think that 10.5 is a good number because
slaughter.
Well, yeah, because if they lose by 10, right, what's called still covers. Like I think Circus should win by slaughter roll, but at the same time, Impact's got some hitters, man. You never know what you're going to get out of Impact. We're going off strictly paper here, so.
If Circus is maybe missing a few guys with work or whatever, but 10.5 is actually a very clever line. I like that. Yep.
So money line, I got playing Iron. I think is going to be a competitive game. I believe Iron, most of their kids are back from school now. I think it's going to be an interesting game for sure. It's going to be a lot closer than people think. But I do have money line at 4.5. I think maybe they pull away late. They get a couple, 2-3 runs and cover that spread, and they win by 5. What do you got?
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna say I think you're spot on with that. I think money line is definitely a couple run favorite, but that game is going to be closer than people think, just based on kind of where we're at in the top 12. I know you put money line at 9. I've got money line at 4. So those teams are kind of spaced out, but I think money line's a damn good team.
Yep. So I also have the Chicago Dynasty Whale game. I have Chicago Dynasty minus 2.5, and I have them at a lower number just because Whale has been playing and Dynasty really hasn't played much. So
exactly.
Dynasty could be an upset alert there, but at the same time, Dynasty minus 2.5 to start that game.
Whale did severely let us down in that first tournament of the year for them, by the way.
They did.
So I'm gonna give Dynasty an extra run and say 3.5 just because of that.
Okay, perfect. 10 deep versus Traffic. I have 10 deep minus 3. I just don't know much about Traffic. I know last year they had a younger group. They had some fast kids and things like that. I don't know if I don't know if they've added anybody. I haven't heard much from the Northside Traffic team, but if they have, and they have the same similar team, I got to go with 10 deep -3. I've seen
Yep.
10 deep. They they were in the championship of the A tournament. They look pretty good in a couple of the games that I've watched them play. I've seen them play. So looks like they're fast. They also came out to the Dome. I watched them in the Dome as well over the course of the winter. So I got my eyes on them. So 10 deep -3.
I love that. I think you're spot on.
So high Y versus the shooters. I think this game can kind of get ugly, but I also can see the shooters coming out swinging, right? And they got Johnny Ryan on the hill. I put a 5.5 on this number. I think it might be a little low, but at the same time, I could see the high Y struggling with Johnny Ryan just because he is a veteran. He's been around, and the shooters got some talent, dude. So don't sleep on the shooters.
I agree. And the shooters had an unfortunate showing in their first event in the SSA. I know they were missing, Keenan Connolly, but I think high Y. I would give him maybe a couple more runs. Maybe call it 6.5, or 7.5 in that game.
Right. And then the last game that I'm going to give a line for is the Demons. Demons playing Ferals. I think the Demons are probably -1.5 here. I think if the Demons catch the ball, they're going to win this game. If they don't and leave Ferals in the game, then obviously Ferals will have a shot to win it. But to me, Demons -1.5 I think is a fair line. I know Demons have some newer players, but they played in Maddie's tournament.
Yep.
They've been playing out in Forest Park. They've had a couple close losses, some of those things as well. So Demons to me -1.5. What do you got?
I was going to say that's almost like a pick 'em, just based on what team is catching the ball in that game. And I know Pharaohs may have more depth on that team. Demon's gonna have to hit though to keep up with those guys. I think that's gonna be a pretty good game. I think Pharaohs -1.5 is a very, very good line. I think Demons could win that game as well.
Yep. So we just went through everything we wanted to cover. I know we went through our top 12. We went through the opening round games. Obviously, best of luck to all the teams out there this weekend in Westchester. Donnie and I will be out there. Donnie, I know we talked a little bit about going live and doing some things out there, so maybe we'll mess around with some stuff while we're out there. Yep. But let's get on to our guest tonight. We have a ton of things for this guest. I think I didn't realize last week he was going to be our guest this week. So, but I mentioned last week if I was building a team right now that he would be my number one pick, just because of his age. He's a left fielder. A lot of things that he does well in the game. So, and I love playing with him. I think his intensity and everything else. So, I'm going to go to the green room and I'm going to hopefully see if Anthony is in there, and we're going to bring him to the show.
Well, we certainly hope he is in there because now is the time.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, how are you, buddy?
All good, all good. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Yes, welcome, my man. Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap.
Yeah, appreciate it.
How are you doing today, Anth?
All good, all good. I appreciate those kind words. That's very kind of you to say something like that. Number one pick overall is something nice.
Yeah, don't throw out compliments for too much.
He was trying to butter you up to get you on the show. He was trying to butter you up to get you on the show, Anthony. That was all. It was all part of it.
It was all planned.
It worked though. So it definitely worked.
It worked. So Anthony, I think everyone in softball knows who you are, but for those that don't, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the game, what made you want to play 16-inch softball, because I know you were obviously a baseball player like many others going through high school, college, and so on. So tell us a little bit about Anthony Sanchez.
Yeah, Anthony Sanchez has been around the softball field for quite a long time. I was known as Little Izzy for a long time, Little Zip, running around the field. I think it's been since about 4 or 5 years old. I'm sure I was out there even earlier. I know my dad, Israel Sanchez, has been bringing me out there since a young age, always running around with the young kids, playing ball, doing everything I can not to watch the game at that point. And then it started to progress where it was like, hey, this guy, my dad, Israel Sanchez, is pretty good. Let me start watching him. And you started hearing all the accolades and all the achievements that he started being a part of and doing. And so I'm like, hey, let me maybe take up this. And, he brought me on to this game, and that's something I'll forever be grateful for. But a lot of this game comes from him. He helped raise it. He helped, instill it in my mind. This was, him and my family. That's all been part of this. I'm really excited to be a part of the 45s, but it's even more exciting to be out there with my family. Adam Haas is, my brother-in-law, my dad out there with me, and then all the other guys that now are considered my family. Joe Yaris, Nate, you got Billy Smith. You can name all those guys that are now family to me. And so, this game is not just softball to me. This is a time for me to grow relationships, and continue to see my family. This is time to see my family as well. So this game is more than just softball. That's
Definitely.
for sure.
And I know you have two sisters, or a sister that is a phenomenal player as well. So I know sports run in the family for sure in your household. So
Absolutely.
Donnie.
It's funny you say kind of. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Donnie, how many times have you played against Anthony so far?
I probably played against him for 5-6 times. I mean, in the last couple seasons, playing iron, maybe not a ton with Meatball City, a couple times last year. Never beat him, I don't think, in my life. Not one time. I don't think I've ever won a single game against Anthony. So that's awesome. Thanks for bringing that up, Jim.
I appreciate that. That's where I was getting at, buddy.
Perfect. Thanks. Let me go back to talking about Anthony and not about me. Anthony, you talk about.
No, you're a great pitcher, Donnie. Don't shed no light off that. All right.
Yes. You got the Hex pitcher over there who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Thanks, Ant. Appreciate you.
Hex starting pitcher. Get it right.
Correct. Sorry, Anthony. We'll talk to you about that after the show. You talked about being able to play with your family at the major level, and you obviously play with your dad and your brother-in-law. I mean, that's got to be the coolest thing in the world. Like going to the game with dad and obviously Adam, who I think is super underrated in the softball game. He's phenomenal. What's the banter like at family parties? What do you guys talk about when you go to a family gathering?
Banter's there for sure. If me and Adam go over, Dad is definitely going to be yelling at the next family party, saying, "Hey, you remember that one?" So that's for sure. The biggest banter for sure is my other brother-in-law that is not on the team, that always is trying to get a tryout for the team. So we're always trying to get him out there and get him a part of the squad. But Connor, you may get an invite sooner rather than later, but right now it's not in the books for you.
That's hilarious. I was gonna kind of a follow up on that question. Izzy, some people know played a little Major League Baseball. Anthony, do you think at your peak and his peak, you think you got a hit off your dad as a pitcher?
Yeah, there's zero shot. There was a lot of times when he was, in his young 40s, late 40s, where he was facing us in high school, and he was still carving us, still throwing 85, 86, a slider that's probably moving about 12 inches right to left.
I love it.
He's something that's not from this earth, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you, that guy is still a pretty good softball player at the age of whatever he is, 80. I know he's going to give me some shit when I see him in 2 weeks, but that's okay. We don't know what Izzy's age actually is, because God knows what he actually put on his birth certificate. But that being said, how is it playing with your dad? I mean, you mentioned some of the things. I love it when you guys are screaming and yelling at each other in the field. I get a kick out of it. Other people don't necessarily know. I feel like I have a little bit more of an inside information on some of that stuff. When he yells at you, I don't know. Most of the time it's against my team when he's yelling at you. So maybe I see it more than others. But either way, I just love the relationship you guys have, because people would look at that and say that's a bad thing. I look at that and say that's an incredible thing because it's someone that, yes, it's your father's son, but to have that type of relationship where you guys can go back and forth and then 2 minutes later, it's like it never happened, I think is an awesome thing. Tell us a little bit about that and how you I guess you want to say handle that during the game.
Yes, whatever happens between the lines stays between the lines, and that's always been said between Dad and I from the age that I was competent to be able to learn baseball skills. Is
Right.
whatever happened between the line, we're going to keep it between the line. That's from coaching, that's from playing together, and so that's been something that's very tough to handle, but something that we're still learning to do. But we got a good manage on it.
Yeah.
We've been doing this a long time. So I'm now 27 years old, so he's been managing it a pretty damn long time. And I think that it's something that really fuels the fire in a sense. It really fires us. When you hear him going and yelling at us, it's kind of to fuel us up. It's tough love. It's something that we've been able to handle all of our lives, and that's how we kind of been raised. I think that's something that's been instilled in us as well, not just with me, but also with Adam, with all the other guys on the team as well. I know there's a couple newer guys that are coming to the team, but that's nothing to scare them away. That's something that
No.
he knows. He knows that's tough love on them, and he knows they can do better. So he's going to try to make them do better. And so that's really all that it's about. There's never anything that's going to carry on past the ball field. It may
Right.
come home for a little bit, but after that, it's gone. It ain't nothing's gonna break me and my dad's relationship on the ball
No,
field.
I know
That's for
that's
sure.
a fact. But
That's
So
great.
I love, what I love? I think it's the passion, the intensity, the will to win. And I think that is missed a lot in softball. And that's one of the reasons why I had you, if I was starting a team, you'd be my number one pick for the way to that, not only the way you play the game, but also just your intensity. And I think that relates and shows off on others. Guys like Nate, guys like Yaris, they feed off that, and I think it's a huge thing. Like when we go to Yuma, and we feed off that, right? So it's I've seen it, I've lived it, I played with you, so I just have a different view, a different lens of that, and it's an awesome thing, the relationship you and your father have. So incredible.
yeah,
Donnie, go
appreciate
ahead.
that. Appreciate that.
This so you had a walk-off no glove national winning hit, right?
Yeah.
Really quick. How old were you when that happened?
Was I 21, 22? I just
Okay.
got out of college, I believe.
Yep. So you were, that's the biggest stage in 16 in softball at 21, 22 years old. What were kind of the conversations leading up to that? You'll probably never forget that moment in your life. What are some of the conversations that you had, like, kind of coming up to that at bat? What did Dad say? And then after that, what has that done for your softball career? What kind of confidence does that give you as a player?
Yeah, definitely gave me a huge confidence boost. Just instilling from right away the get-go that I can do it. That confidence boost of being able to get a base knock when I need to in a big situation like that is something that kind of sticks with me for a long time and won't get away from me. That's something that's already ingrained, right? And so that's something that we try to help out with some of our guys as well. Hey, you did this already, you could do it again. And so that's great to see. The conversations after, it's similar to the ones that were happening before. It's a process. This is something that's going to happen probably again. Every year you're going to get the chance to do it. Hopefully you can step up at the time and take care of it. All of the older guys that I always have had conversations with has always trusted me and knew I've had this. Now just seeing it happen, I think it's kind of cool in their eyes as well as in mine. A lot of them had the confidence, and I think that's a great thing for me as well going into this. But not many conversations change after that. I'm just trying to stay the same person I am. If during the highs, during the lows, whatever happens, I got to stay even keeled. And that's kind of what the game's kind of taught me and helped me understand.
Yeah, I think they walked somebody to get to you in that game, right? I think the team you guys were playing walked somebody to get to you, and you were batting. I know now you lead off, but you were hitting a little bit lower in the lineup at that time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Right when I came into the game, it was more trying to dunk and dive into the lineup and find a good spot
Yep.
for me. And so, I think I finally found that spot then in the leadoff spot.
Yeah. Very true.
I'd say so. So let's talk about the 45s a little bit.
Sure.
Before I get into my next question, you have picked up a couple younger players this year with PJ Raines and Jeff Mastari.
Oh yeah.
How have they fit in so far? Because you guys you're what 5, 6, 7-0 already to start the year. Tell us a little bit about those new guys that have joined the team.
Yeah. PJ and Jeff probably add up to the same age that Sammy Bertucci is too. So you can't forget about my guy Sammy.
Oh
That's
yes,
that's a great addition to our squad as well. But those two guys, those two young guys are a great addition. They're fresh, they're young, they got a great mindset coming in. I know Mastari has a great legacy to uphold. Same with Petey. This is something that they've had ingrained in their blood as well. This is the same way with me. They've been growing up around the ball field. They got a great mindset on the field, off the field. They're great guys. This is just a great addition to the squad. It's going to really help us out down the road when we have those fresh young legs out on the field with us.
Yep.
No, yeah, I mean, your team. I think this year you guys added speed, which was definitely something that you guys I think have been missing in the last couple of years. With obviously, with the exception of yourself, you're pretty fast. Nate's pretty fast, but overall, adding PJ and they both can run, they both can move, and they both can hit. So, and then you mentioned Sambone, adding a veteran guy that could play in the infield at pretty much any position that could fill in when needed and still can hit. So it's an awesome thing to see. So, but that leads me into my question. We talk about playing with guys in softball. We talk about maybe guys that you haven't played with. But tell me what guy you would like to play with that you haven't played with so far, or maybe a guy that you really enjoy playing with that's not on the 45s.
Yeah, I think that's kind of up in the air because I get around to playing a lot of rec softball. I think the great thing about major softball is you get one solid team. The great thing about the recreational softball then is you get to scatter all around. And so
Yep.
that kind of answers the question a little bit. I get to play with a lot of the guys that I want to play with. Are there some guys that I still am like, dang, I want to play with? Yeah, absolutely. You can name a ton of them. But that's kind of the opportunity then during those rec leagues where you're getting able to be on different squads that may need to piece a couple people together to form a team. All of these local rec tournaments are where we all started playing the game, honestly. And that's
Right.
where we get to play with all of our guys and our friends for fun. And so, I can't really name off the top of my head any specific people because I get to play with a bunch of guys. It would be awesome to be right behind Travis at during the game. It would be awesome
Yep.
to be behind these other guys. Like Spencer behind in front of me, and I'm in left field behind him. These are all guys that you would love to play with, but obviously you got to field a team of 10 guys, and everyone can't be on one team.
Right.
So that's that chance to get out to the rec leagues and go play with them out there.
I think, Jimmy, for our own sake, we'll just pretend he said you and I for that answer. Okay?
Yeah, I get to play with Jimmy. Donnie,
Yeah,
I haven't gotten the chance to play
I'll
with
say
you
yeah.
yet, but
No problem. Whenever you want.
Trust me,
Absolutely.
Donnie, I'm at the top of his list of guys he enjoys playing with. All right.
I'm sure. I'm sure you're top 2 and you're not number 2, my friend.
Yeah. So, but really quick, Donnie, I see some comments out there coming in about Anthony. Why don't we get through those before we get to the next question?
We've got Tim Dalton says, love that 55s with Izzy and Sammy are a feeder team to the 45s. Randy Nelson says, what's up, my guy Ant? Christine Everhart hustles 100% of the time. We love watching it. Lee Reeder is watching the show. Appreciate you, Lee, for coming on in and chatting with us. Steve Burke about how he's got to keep carrying Chuck in the outfield. So talking a little bit about your guy Chucky in center field, Ant.
Yeah.
Chris Rieger, he says, what the heck, Donald? He's a member of Whale who let us down. So that's what he's talking about. Your guy Ram is watching. That's great.
Yeah,
Lee
shout
Reader
out,
said, go ahead,
shout out Feisty Flamingo's big win this weekend. That was for sure.
Yeah. So we did see that. They had a nice little roster out there, so I'm happy for them. Lee Reader also says, Players Inc. Wednesday night, aggressive. What does he mean by that? Aggressive. Did they play? Did you guys play Players Inc.?
Yeah, I wasn't there. I heard we did put a little whooping on them. But that's a chance for all of our guys to get swings in. So we're coming out for one game, 6:45. You got a bunch of guys showing up. If you get a little lead in a 6:45 game, you're gonna obviously give those guys who race there the chance to swing, and those guys are not gonna go in there and just try to make outs. We're all traveling 45 minutes to an hour. I get the game. We need to respect the game a little bit of, hey, the score, not running the score up. But again, we're all softball guys. We're all grown men. We're not going to take anything personal in that situation. But
you should. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Final score was 25-2 in that game.
Okay, that's a little running it up, Anthony. I don't know about that. I mean,
right.
What 30 runs Hex scored this weekend? Who'd they play? Mm-hmm. What was the score of that game?
That doesn't count. We don't talk about Hex on the show, right? Know the rules, bud, all right?
Yeah, my bad.
All right, so that leads me right into softball, right? Because obviously it leads me into what we talk about, things that bother us. So my next thing is that things in softball right now, the way the game is currently played, what is something that maybe sticks out to you that you like, you know what, man, I wish that was a little different, or I wish guys were different, or that really bothers me. Is there one thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, there is one thing. I just wish the banter to all the different leagues would settle down a little bit. I know everyone has their own opinion. Everyone's got their own chatter. But some of that has to settle down a little bit. You got guys working their asses off to put up a league for us for 2 days a week, and then another league 2 days a week. So that's a lot of work out of their hands. And so to go against them and try to fight that sometimes is upsetting to me. You got guys that are really putting in a lot of time and effort into setting all this stuff up and making all of this available for us. This wouldn't be possible without half of these guys doing this for us. And so a lot of people don't understand how much time and effort goes into setting up a whole entire softball association or a whole entire league or whatnot.
Or just a tournament. Yeah,
exactly. Just a tournament. I know there's a lot of banter or chatter going around. It's not banter or chatter. It's just advice that they're trying to input into the game, and rightfully so. Everyone wants to improve the game. That being said, sometimes their advice doesn't always improve the game. That advice can be very poor advice, and they don't really understand. It may have been tested out, but they didn't see it tested out. And so that's what I don't really like. A lot of these individuals don't really understand how much time that it takes to schedule with the park district, schedule with someone else to set up a concession stand even or whatnot for the softball. I mean, that's stuff that I think needs to slow down a little bit. These guys are doing a great job putting the leagues together for us. And so that's just the one thing I have.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Donnie, right over to you, buddy.
No, it's because we talked to Mickey a little bit earlier in the season about doing a tournament of guys from different parks. So it kind of ties into maybe making that happen a little bit, and seeing how much diversity comes from different parks and what kind of teams can be put together. But you're absolutely right. The people put a lot of effort into making these leagues happen. So just being aware of how much work people put into making these great leagues. And I know Jimmy says no one gives a shit about my metal team on Monday, but you got 12 guys that very much do. Okay, and I won't let you talk bad about me like that.
Donnie, relax, man. It was a joke. Okay.
No. Okay. All right. See, now this is awkward. Anthony, how are you, man? So we'll kind of get back into the real softball, as Jimmy would like to say. You've been a part of some really big games, and last year was kind of tough at No Glove Nationals with you guys getting to the championship, and then Flash came out and played 2 really nice games, and it was sort of one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. That first championship game, it was 1-0, I think the final score was, and you guys have been pounding teams all day on Saturday and Sunday, and it was odd to see that game. Talk to me about what kind of was going through the dugout during that first game, and then obviously heading into the second game. What was that? I mean, just like no hits from either team, good defensive play from both teams. What was kind of the mentality there?
Yeah, that taste has been in my mouth too many times. That happened to us 2 years before against, I think it was Circus as well.
Yeah.
It's just a blacked out feeling in a sense. You just kind of don't really know what is going on. Everyone's just kind of in their own mind, and they're not really playing as a team. I think we were sticking together. We were with each other, but it was just like there was a haze in the air where we couldn't get anything to fall. We couldn't, really put something together. And then when we did try to, they would make a fantastic play. That's kind of what happened in that situation. I think we put a lot more pressure on ourselves than we needed to. We had guys that were going in there with, maybe 1 hit in 2, 3, 4 games, or 1 out in 2, 3, 4 games. And then all of a sudden they're making 3, 4 outs. And so, it happens. It's softball. It's a game where, sometimes we can get a little tight on ourselves and you stress a little bit too much and put a little too much pressure and try to force things. But that happens. And that's something that we're going to look past, and we're going to keep moving forward. Hopefully we put ourselves right back in that situation again. And, I give our team 10 times out of 10 that odds of winning again. That was a haze in the air. We're trying just our best to get 1 out of the 2 games, and we didn't get it done. And so we're going to move on to the next tournament and get it done next week.
It's great.
And are you in your car?
Yeah. Outside in the car right now.
My man. I just saw the 45 jerseys hanging. I'm like, is that
I had
a window?
to bring 45s in here. Yep.
My man. That's
No privacy
awesome,
at the house, Ant?
No, I had a family party right now. I had to step out to take care of it for you guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
That's what I was getting at. See how important we are, Donnie? He steps outside in his car.
He went into the Toyota Corolla for his show, Jim. We appreciate that.
We didn't want to get Izzy on the show. We'd be here all night.
Yeah, that's right.
He'd have a lot of stories for us. So Ant, before I get to rapid fire, okay?
Cool.
I want to just kind of go back a little bit. One thing that came to my mind as you were talking about softball and things that bother you, and I think I kind of know where you were going with it, right? With the leagues and some of the guys, the one thing, and I think I've talked about this quite a bit, but not too much in detail, is about the stubbornness sometimes that goes on with when guys do bring opinions to the table, right? And to your point, I think you made a very good point, right? Not everyone's opinion is going to be correct, but when you do sit in a chair that has somewhat of authority for an association, or in a chair that is maybe the president of the company or whatever business you're in, you tend to always have to listen to those opinions. And one of the things that I always hear is that those opinions sometimes, well, they say they listen, but sometimes they're not being listened to. So that's the one thing I think that sticks out for me. And I think it's something that, to your point with the leagues, I don't really hear much about the leagues. I hear more about like tournaments, and I hear more about the way certain things are run and just like kind of the petty little bullshit that goes on. And we could talk about that at another time, but that's where my mind is. Is that kind of like what you're talking about a little bit in regards to?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I just wanted to make sure that was clear, because it's something that I think is brought to my attention quite a bit. And, I don't pay attention much to the guys that talk all the shit on Facebook, but what
Same here.
But what I do pay attention to is when they reach out to me and call me and talk to me about an idea or an opinion that we can, bring to the table, that I feel is like, that makes tons of sense. Right. So, Donnie and I really started the show around not only making it more exposure for softball, but also branching out to different things about the game of softball. And that's one of the things why we started these interviews, and we started the, on-field mic. We mic'd up players on the field. We're doing different things. I think that is attractive to the younger age too. But at the same time, trying to bring new teams into the game. So just wanted to put that in there because I wanted to make sure, I really understood what you were saying, and now it totally makes sense. So, Donnie, before I get to rapid fire, do you have any other questions, or do you want to?
Go ahead, fire away.
Right, so
fire away.
Really quick before I get to rapid fire, we had a bunch of people join. A bunch of people answer saying hi. By the way, Jeremy Lafrano, Joe Familiar, well, Joe's on, Coyle's on, Alicia's on. We have Alan on. So a lot of people are joining. William Russ is on. Jake Reynolds is on. So Dwayne Falls. A lot of new timers, a lot of new names, Donnie, that I haven't seen before. So obviously everyone is saying, hello to Anthony. They're saying that you don't look as handsome as me and Donnie, but either way,
that has been
good. Billy Smith is on. Hopefully Billy's playing a slot machine somewhere. Yeah, no.
Not a slot machine, wildlife, okay? One specific slot machine, okay?
Yeah, it was slot machine. So
good game.
So this is the part of the show where we get to rapid fire. Okay,
Cool.
It's kind of something that we started, and really what we do, Ant, is we're just looking for what is the first thing that comes to your head when I mention these names, right? So it's
cool.
it's a 10-1 list. I've got a clever one tonight. So
cool.
Just for reference, and Jimmy put Jesus in the top 10 last week. So expect anything, man.
Hey, but Jesus was a great reference to our
Great
boy Sam.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
All right. So number 10 has been a guest on our show. He was one of the main leaders of the 45s back in the day. He's a Hall of Famer. You might not have had a chance to play with him in your younger days, but you definitely seen him as a kid at the field, and that's Jeff Berger, number 10. What do you got to say about Jeff?
I mean, that's my guy. Jeff Berger is my guy. On and off the field, that's always been someone that I've looked up to. He's always been there for me when I've needed it. Jeff Berger is someone that I can definitely say I can call up if I needed something, and he would be there for me. That's one of our guys. Not just me, but my dad as well. So that's like family to me for sure.
No, I have a special relationship with Jeff as well, and I know how much or how highly he speaks of you and your family and just the 45s in general, and he always calls it a family himself. So I knew that one definitely struck a chord there for sure. So this one also, I've seen you have many arguments with this individual. I've seen you scream at him multiple times. I don't know why, but maybe because of his bad calls or something situation in the game. And number 9 is Oscar the ump.
Oscar. All love for Oscar. Oscar's been reffing me since first grade basketball. I've seen Oscar out there for forever. And so when I yell at Oscar, I think he understands it's kind of like, hey, it's underneath my skin right now. It will get away with me, and then I'm always going to go up to him and apologize because that's elders. That's somebody I need to show a lot of respect for on the field. He's been around a long time. He's earned that. Oscar, that's a good one on the list.
So number 8 actually is somebody I put on the list. Not because you're close with this individual, but it's somebody I feel is come up with you at the same time, has a lot of the same pedigree, plays on another major team, plays the same position, who's somebody who is a father who's been, battling your father in major softball, and I'm sure you guys have been playing at the parks as a little kid. And Ryan Russ.
Oh, yeah, Ryan. I got a great relationship with Ryan, and at least I think so. Ryan and I always get along with each other when we see each other. But that doesn't change anything when we're on the field. We're always competitors, and we're always trying to be the best that we can and at that spot. And that's what I love and admire about him. He's hands down a better defensive outfielder than me, without a doubt. He's got it for sure. Right to left, he's able to get that ball down the line better than anyone you can really name, besides maybe Little B and Chippy. Um, he's phenomenal, though. That's somebody. Ryan is somebody definitely that I've been around for a long time too. Just growing up at a
Yep.
young age, we've always been competitors with each other when it was 11, 12 years old that we were playing with each other. So Ryan is definitely somebody that I always look up to and will always have a good relationship with.
Awesome. No, I definitely agree with you 100%. So number 7, I'm staying with left fielders. This one here is true to my heart. He's somebody that is on my team. The reason why I brought him and I put him on the list because he matches your fire, your intensity, and that's our boy Kurt, number 7.
Yeah, Kurt. I was young coming into the game, and we kind of got off on the wrong foot. But Kurt's a good dude.
Yep.
He means well, and that's something that I had to kind of learn to understand over the years of knowing him. But it's like you said, it's the same intensity that I bring to the table that he does as well, and
Yep.
that's something that the game needs a lot more of. Sometimes I will say Kurt does show his expressiveness a little more than others, but that's okay. That's how you get it out. I mean,
Yeah.
some guys just need to get it out a little differently. Some guys, throw their bats. Like, I wouldn't recommend that, but that's their way of getting their anger out. And so, Kurt's a great player, and I love playing against him. And when I got the chance to play with him, I think it was last All-Star game. It was an honor. It was a pleasure playing with him. So, Good dude.
So go ahead, Donnie, because I know I know what you want to say.
We're not laughing at what you're saying. You're being very serious and sincere. So there's a little banter in the chat against me. Captain Birdseye 4 from the Twitch stream says the guy on the right looks like a kid being made to stay back after class. Okay, I'm a grown ass man. No, I'm not.
I agree with Captain Birdeye. I mean,
I knew you would.
We don't even know that guy on the right of the
No,
screen.
I don't even know that guy on the right.
He probably was talking about me though. I look
This
young,
show
right? That's what he was saying. I look young. So
yeah, that's it.
all right. So number 6. The reason why I put number 6 on the list is because I know he's a close friend of yours, but he also left the 45s to go to Dynasty. So I wanted to hear what your thought process was and just kind of, what was said. Obviously, it's Jack is who we're talking about, but what was the thought process behind that and kind of what was said?
Yeah, I mean, Jack is always a guy that's going to be close to my heart. That was a guy I grew up with and not grown up with, but it went through college with, and really took me under his wing. So Jack is somebody that's always going to hold a close spot to my heart. But that being said, he did choose to leave the team, and I think it was for his better decision. He wanted to play a little bit less major ball and focus on the rec leagues a little bit more as well. That's kind of what Dynasty is looking to do. I think they're only in one league right now. They don't travel too far to the south too much. So I think that will be a good fit for him. He also was a little upset with how much he did play. We had a little bit going on last year, trying to rotate guys around, and he was at a point where he wasn't performing, and so he didn't get as much opportunity as even I think he should have gotten. But that being said, I don't run the team, and that's why it's been successful as long as it has. So,
no, that makes sense. And now he's on that Dynasty team that Uncle Jimmy.
And they're very lucky to have him. I mean, he's a great player. He's gonna fit in real well over there.
Number 11th in the Uncle Jimmy rankings, just so you know. And I've got you guys at 1, Anth, right now. So give you guys a little confidence into the weekend, hopefully. And next week and the weekend after that too. So high confidence out of you right now, all right?
Thanks,
going
Jim.
for a repeat. Number 5 is the best looking white guy in softball, Little Dave.
Little Dave. Little Dave is he says I got the
Our
best
Yuma
golf
guy.
swing in the game. Yep. He says I got the best golf swing in the game, and I still got to get out on the course with him to teach him how to play. Little Dave is a great player, and I think a lot of times until this year, he was really underrated. A lot of people looked past him. A lot of people looked by him, and I think finally he started to come out of out of that underrated mentality, and he
Yeah.
got the MVP last year. You could tell, and he's just a great guy to be around. You want him on your team, and that's hands down.
Yep. He's another guy that gets to go with us to Yuma, which is awesome. Awesome to play with Dave. It's always fun. He's always got something to say that makes you laugh in the dugout. So I love little Dave. He's one of my best. Number 4, Mark Holstein.
Mark, yeah, same thing with Mark. Same thing with Jeff. I've grown up around Mark for as long as I can remember. He was the one that you were always watching because the ball was flying so far, and it was always hey, Mark Holstein just put one over the fence, or Mark Holstein just put it on the taco stand. You didn't really hear that stuff until Mark started coming around. A lot of the times, though, you would see the ball flying out of Mount Prospect, and then I was going to race and grab it. So it was great. And Mark is a wonderful individual. That same way, he's like family to me. Someone that I've always looked up to, and somebody that's always gonna be there if I gave him a call, and if I needed him. So
Absolutely.
I wish the best for Mark. I know he ventured over to Hex, and so I'm hoping that he's successful over there. I know he will be. So yeah,
For sure. No, Mark's to me he's just a nice, genuine, great
yeah,
dude. Even how big he is, I know he can squeeze me and probably kill me, but
Yeah.
outside of that, he's really is a great dude. So
Yep.
yeah.
at this part of the show, we stop until we get to the top 3. I know Donnie likes to go to the comments. We read some comments. Uh, Before Donnie reads those comments, I just want to say hi to Mr. Tom Breeson. Welcome to the show. Gino, welcome. Preston, welcome. Ed Bacon, welcome. Pat Shillo, welcome. Ted Sherwin has joined. Our boy Jason from the Fat Kids, he's joined. The Hall of Fame is watching. So Adam Olson, welcome to the show. We've already said Billy Smith, but also Lane Neiman. Anthony, welcome to the show. Coyle, welcome. So a lot of people jumping on and off. So great to see.
Yep.
We obviously appreciate the support. Welcome for those just jumping on. Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap. Tonight is show number 47 already, which is insane to say. It's been a crazy, crazy ride, and just something that Donnie, you and we all know that it's always something on top of our mind every week. So,
I know.
it's crazy.
Jimmy, I don't even text my mom this much, and you text me every day. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I
we're
never
always back and
thought
forth.
in my wildest dreams I would talk to another grown man this much. But just to touch on the comments quick, Billy Smith says, "Hey James," which is pretty funny to hear you call James. Jeremy Lafrano says Anthony plays the game the right way, and then Lee Reader mentions that Little B is so. I mean, he's fantastic out there to watch. He's so fun to watch play softball. But those are only just a few comments coming on through in the chat so far during rapid fire. But Jimmy, if you want to fire into the top 3.
Yeah, we just had our boy Marky Robinson Jr. join the show. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure he's hammered right now at Lawler. So, welcome to the show, Marky. Appreciate it. So, number 3 is, I would say, probably your leader on the team, your shortstop, Nate Mercado.
Yeah, I mean Nate has always been there for me. That's a brother for sure. Ever since I've been coming around the ball field and he's been on our squad, that's somebody that I've been able to look up to, not just on the field, but somebody that I've been able to go to off the field as well. If I needed something, that's my guy I call. And that's without a doubt. One of the big things about Nate though is he's a competitor right along my dad and myself, and so you'll hear arguments between us 3, and that's something that's going to happen. That's how we play the game, and that's how the fire is fueled a little bit. And without a doubt, he's probably one of the best in the game, and I'm happy to be happy to be behind him every single game on the 45s.
100%. Donnie, you look like you want to say something there about Nate.
No, I was going to mention that Mark Robinson said that he's sober.
Oh,
but there you go.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
So number 2, this is an interesting one. So this one's a good one, actually. So number 2 is I've got to play with you a couple times in Yuma, in Arizona, and that is the game of blackjack, number 2.
Yeah, that's
Tell us
that's
about the game of blackjack, Anthony, because I know we've played at Rivers, we've played at
that's
Yuma.
love-hate relationship. Let's just leave it at that, Jim. We're gonna move on to number 1.
Well, for those viewers, Anthony and I, we like to play a little blackjack every now and then. And one of the last times I think we were at I think it was Rivers. I thought we were going to get escorted out of the casino, but all in all, it was well. We were just a little angry at the gentleman that was sitting next to us who didn't have a clue what he was doing.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
So it's been the game of blackjack is very important to us when we sit at a table and someone doesn't know what they're doing. So
You're ruining.
The man was hitting on a dealer showing a 5 or 6, and this guy's taking cards with
Perfect.
13, 14.
I hope hopefully that guy lost all of his money doing all that.
Well, he lost all his money and our money. That's
right.
Yeah.
He's ruining it for the table.
Absolutely. So, number 1, and there was only number one to me. There's only one of them, and it was the first name I wrote down when I did this list. Obviously, you definitely know who this is. We've talked about him already on the show. I think he's your mentor. He's your father. He's everything that you could think of in life, and that's your dad, Izzy. So tell us about your dad. I know that you've something maybe that you haven't already said about him, but tell us a little bit about Izzy.
Yeah, I mean, his game speaks for himself. It speaks for itself a lot. He's a fireball. He's everything that you want to be on the ball field, and off the field, because he's a fantastic father and a fantastic role model as well. So let's not get that set aside or anything. All right, but on the field, he's fantastic. Just making sure that he's keeping our guys in the game at all times. A lot of people think that they should go into their shells when it's time to, come into a pressure situation. He does a great job of getting us out of that. And that's something that I think you've been able to see on the field as well when you're with us. And Donnie, hopefully one day you're able to experience that. But just being behind him, you can see as a 60-year-old individual how much fire and how much love he still plays with. A lot of people don't understand that people can't do this game at 40, 35, 20, 25, 30 years old. He's still doing it at 60. And so, and that's just goes to show you how great of a guy he was at 50 or maybe even 40 years old when he first started coming into the game. And so,
or maybe when 70, he's 80 now. I know we did off 20 years.
Well, hopefully he keeps playing that long. And so, that's something that, is inspiration to me. It's something that you don't really see a lot of individuals out there of his age doing. And so that's, I think, something for our guys to see as well. If this guy at 60 can fucking hit the ball, I can damn well do it at my age. And so, that's something that without a doubt is a positive for him and for me, just being around that. And that's going to be something I'm going to hold close to my heart forever. Being able to share the field with him on and off is something that, is overlooked by me quite often, but something that, I reminisce on looking back and like, man, there's only a couple more times, a couple more years of me being able to do this. So I got to take advantage of it as much as I can.
I look forward to going to Yuma and getting yelled at by your father. It's just like, it's a wonderful thing, so some people can't take that, which, it bothers them. And I just, I don't know. I just love it. I just love it. Yeah, because you reason with him. It's like, yeah. I can understand this. I get it,
Yeah,
man. You want a beer?
you're right. Yeah.
You know?
You state the obvious to me over and over again. It might click in my head that I may.
Yeah. He's hysterical. He makes me laugh. So, Natalie Marie says, "Love, yes, Anthony." So that was a post that just came through.
Yep.
We got
Happy Mother's Day to Nat.
Yep. Happy Mother's Day. So, Mark Robinson says, "I'm starving. Let's go grab one, pops." I don't know what they're talking
He's
about.
talking about burritos. They're
Burritos.
talking about burritos.
So, and then I'm gonna text Anthony to join Splash. So you're getting recruited by Splash, just so you know. So I don't know if Nate,
Hey.
your father, will like that too much, but Marky's he's a tough recruiter, man. I tell you that.
Yeah. Marky recruits hard for that team. He definitely takes pride in that Splash team, and Anthony, he drives a compelling case. I mean, he has provided nothing, just a spot on the team so far.
So Ant, that ends my rapid fire. Tell me the one name or something that really jumps out to you. You're like, that was a really good one.
I'm gonna say Oscar. That was something that I did not expect you to throw out there. And Oscar is someone that a good guy. So I'm glad you threw that in there.
Perfect.
I just want to say I do appreciate you guys allowing me to come on the show. Once again, happy Mother's Day to everyone. And hopefully we see everyone out on the ball field sooner rather than later. I know that we have Westchester coming up, so best of luck to all you guys that are playing. Hopefully the weather stays good for us to play out there. I know we usually get banged or it usually gets delayed every other year, so hopefully we can stick this one out this weekend.
Yep, absolutely. No, I agree. Westchester does get delayed, rained, or whatever. So hopefully we get good weather. It looks like it's going to be great weather in the 70s. So Uncle Jimmy's birthday is next Friday. So
nice.
Oh boy,
there'll be a lot of celebrating going on out there.
Yes.
I expect Donnie, you to have big things for me, my man. So
man, we should go. I'm gonna plan some stuff for this show. This is gonna be great.
There we go, buddy. There we go. So Ant, Donnie, do you have, before I get to my last question, I always ask Donnie, do you have a last question for Anthony?
No, I do not, man. We kind of tackled everything we wanted to, and we'll let you go back to your family party pretty soon. Jimmy's got one final question, and then we kind of leave it to you for questions. So just hang in there for Jimmy's last question, as he loves to ask everybody. Jimmy, fire away, man.
So this has become somewhat of a staple on our show. The question is, Ant, is that if you had one thing in softball either you'd like to change or bring to the game to make the game better, what would that be?
Yeah. That's a tough one because softball is a great game as it is right now. A lot of things don't really need to be changed. The one thing I would want is just to have more umpires out there. That would be nice. To have a solid set of umpires that are coming out there and wanting to be out there always. I appreciate all the umpires that are already out there right now. I know it's sometimes a lot of work for them though to stack all the games all at once. So it would be nice just to have a couple more umpires out there that still want to be out there for the love of the game. Trying to just grow that part of the game, I think, would be helpful. And also just, I even on my end need to do a little better job of this, but just making sure we're treating those umpires respectfully. I know a lot of them are doing their best jobs, and sometimes it's not what you want it to be. So you got to kind of accept that. But that being said, I'm still probably going to get upset when there's a bad call on us.
Oh, yeah.
But besides that, there's not much I want to change about this game. This game is something that we all love to play. It brings us closer together. It gives us a chance to see each other and build relationships with people that we don't really see every single day. It gives us a chance to get off the work mindset and go out there and have fun. So that's what we love to do, and we don't really need to change too much about that.
Yeah, no, umpires is something that we heavily talk about. We talk about trying to improve them. Obviously, we also talk about bringing more umpires into the game. So I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, I think it's the first, Donnie, for someone saying anything about umpires with what they'd like to change in regards to bringing more umpires to the game. I don't think we've had that answer before, so that's a new answer.
Very unique answer. I know Jimmy says he wants more good umpires in the game just because he likes to disagree with those fellas. But yeah, that's a good answer.
Here's my thing. I mean, I think I've said this before. If an umpire shows up and he's hustling out there and he's making the call and he's doing what he's supposed to do and he blows the call, it's a lot. You're a lot better off. You're not going to get as much heat. But the guy that stands behind home plate, who doesn't move, blows a call, and shows zero effort, that's the guy that you're going to give heat to. And you know, and to my point, because I look at it the other way, right? Think about it. You have families, you have people, you have work, you have jobs, you have kids. Those people are going out there missing those times with their families, their kids, their jobs, to go out there and let's just say potentially lose a game or change the game on a bad call, and from someone who shows zero effort and who is not hustling. And that, in my opinion, that is something that I always have an issue with. So, and yes, I do. I always fucking bitch, Marky. Okay, have fun with that, Marky.
I just got a pretty good text message from Jeff Berger, Anthony. He said, "Tell A-Train I said what's up." So he's watching you right now.
Jeff can't figure out how to comment yet. So
tell Jeff, Jeff, I said what's up. Can't wait to get out on the golf course with you. We got a long time match overdue.
Man, cool.
So Jeremy Lafrano just made a great comment. He says, "Jimmy, how about the guy that tells you how good he is or how good he was when he played while he's playing?" So to me, Jeremy's right? They should really focus about the game. And so, you got me back on the umpire thing again, and I was hoping to get off this umpire thing, but you're spot on with. We got to figure out a way to get more umpires involved and more people that know or want to be there. So, 100% right with you. So, and thank you. I appreciate it. But this is the time in the show that we hand it over to you. Last week's guest, as you know, had incredible questions for us. So I hope you at least brought one question for me and Cousin Donnie.
I don't got any questions for you. I just want to say I appreciate you guys doing what you guys do with this. You guys are growing the game a little bit. You're growing the love for it. So keep doing what you guys are doing. It's great. And I think that's something that's needed. I know Gio does a good job getting out there as well. And Forest Park is doing a little. All the other guys that are out there on the video recorder, they're doing a great job. So we show no love or we show no hate around here.
No, we don't show. We just kid Gio, but he hasn't figured it out yet. So eventually he'll get there.
It's all good. Hey, but I appreciate it. I'm gonna get back to it. Happy Mother's Day to everyone that's in your life. That's special to you guys. So appreciate you guys again.
Yes, sir. Anthony, thanks very much, man.
Give your dad a kiss for me.
All right.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
I'll see you guys later.
Thanks. Well, that's Anthony Sanchez, everyone. So obviously, how awesome is it that he's taking it from his family party in his car?
I know, like I said, from the Toyota Corolla to the show, which is awesome. We appreciate him jumping on a lot. He didn't have to go and do all that. He could have easily told us no, that he wasn't going to be available, but he went all and did that. So we appreciate him very much, and I love the banter in the chat for him and people trying to recruit him for their team. That's awesome. Marky Robinson may have signed Anthony to a 6-year deal during the Uncle Jimmy show. Anthony was great, and his rapid fire was really good. Marky Robinson says, "Announce me as the next guest."
So
Mark's already been on the show, though.
He has, and the next guest will be whoever wins from the Westchester tournament.
Yep.
The guest after that will be Richie Battistoni. So Richie, as many of you know, he likes to stir the pot, and obviously he runs our Hex team. But I would love to get him on just because I think people need to really know who Richie is. And like as a person, I don't think many people know him as a person. They think of Richie from in his early 20 days when he was, as he will tell you, he was a cocksucker. But as he's grown up, he's really become a good friend. He's become somebody who is there when you need him, and I want people to see the good side of Richie. So, but
What a
this
good place to do it.
yes, and what better place to do it? So, this week we talked about the Westchester tournament. Now we went through the first round games, but I have to ask you. Obviously, you can't pick Hex and you can't pick Signature. We're gonna take those off the table.
Go ahead.
Who do you got winning it?
Man, it's 45 is going to be tough. 45 will be, if it's not Signature or Hex, Jimmy, 45 is going to be a tough team to beat in this tournament. They can get through High Y early. They'll play Circus in the championship. I think they'll run into Circus in the championship. Or if they play us or Flash, they get through either of us. That's a road to success for 45s.
So, I mean, I look at the draw. Obviously, that's an important piece, right?
Yeah.
I think Circus has the draw set up for them, right?
Yep, true.
I mean, they're going to run into a tough team money line, but
maybe.
But I think that they're going to be, this is the tournament they win every year. They've won it the last 2 years. I don't know. I mean, it's tough not to pick them. I gotta pick. I mean, I have to pick Circus just because of the way their draws, because I can't pick myself for you guys. So,
sure.
And I think they, them. And then if you look at the top bracket, I mean, what about High Y?
High Y plays shooters and they play right into 45s. So if they get through those two games, they've got a good chance. At the very top of the bracket, Splash has an early bye, so they're guaranteed to get one win. Mark, that's fantastic. And they'll play the winner of Whale and Dynasty. So we'll check in with Marky Robinson throughout the weekend. But that's the top of the bracket there with Splash, Whale, Dynasty, BTA. BTA can make it out of that side. So it's just going to be.
I was going to tell Marky if he wants to be the guest next week, maybe he should win the tournament.
Yeah, right. That'd be great. It just depends on who Circus has coming out. They can miss a couple guys, a couple of their players, being in the fire and Chicago, police fire, but is curious to see what their team has. But, man.
So, I don't know if we brought up Splash earlier. Marky says, what the hell? What about Splash? Splash actually has the winner of
Whale and Dynasty
and Whale. So I actually have Dynasty beating Whale and then playing Splash, and I have Dynasty minus 2.5 against Splash. So there you go. We spoke about you.
Here's a pretty good comment from Sam Rogers. Hall of Fame versus Chucks. Blind draw and drew each other first game of the first tournament next weekend in Iowa. Sam, we're going to need an update on how that game goes and how both teams look in the first couple swings for each team.
Maybe they're going to do a live feed out there so we can take a look. Obviously, we'll get some information from those guys. I did not see a draw for that tournament. They must have popped on right before we went live. So that was huge too. So I mean, I got 45s minus 2.5 running into High Y. We didn't talk about that either. I have 45s, as the favorite right now against High Y, but that doesn't mean High Y can't win, right? So.
Yep, I agree. I look forward to this weekend. Like Anthony said, I hope the weather hangs in there, and we play Thursday night, and then if we win, Saturday afternoon. So it's kind of a long span between the two games. But I'm really excited about this weekend.
Yeah. So, and before we let everyone go, I think this weekend, I think Donnie, you and I have to do something creative.
I know. I agree. Especially because you're going to be turning 35 years old on Friday.
Yes. So it is my birthday Friday, so we are going to do something creative Friday night. Now Hex does play at 9:30.
Okay.
So I'm planning on going out there Thursday night. I believe you play Thursday at 7:30.
7:30, yeah.
Right. So I was thinking, now that I'm looking at the games, maybe the Moneyline Iron game might be a good game for us to get on the mics, or possibly well, you can't mic your own game, but
No. What about Meatball City or Moneyline Iron? That's 9:30 Thursday. That could be a fun game to do.
Yeah, so
We could do that.
we might be able to get on that. We might be able to figure it out since we'll both be at the field. I think it'll be an awesome way to, enjoy and have a good time. So, Uncle Jimmy's birthday is Thursday. We're celebrating in Yuma. So, yes, we will be, Mr. Brady Fisher. We will be celebrating all month, my man. So, but yeah, Donnie, another great show, my man. I don't have anything else. I'm out of words, and it's a first.
Yes, sir. That's tough to do. Jimmy, what a pleasure, my man. Thank you very much again. And we'll be seeing you guys this week from the TOC. And we have a good weekend up ahead of us, man. I'm excited.
Yep. And everyone, thank you for the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show for supporting us. Obviously, we're sponsored by the Beacon Tap, and I'm just that starter from Hex. Donnie, you're just a pitcher. So
that's it. Good night, everybody.
That's how we got, man. Appreciate it.